Okay, I was not ready for that. Okay, me a fright. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. That helps me out a lot. Hopefully that helps you out too, because you won't miss these when they go live. Now, we're going to have a damn good day because it is once again Nightwish Saturday, and we're onto a song called Procession. I'm excited about this one. There's a lot of hype about it. And to be honest, there's a lot of hype about every track on this album, so that's no surprise. I'm starting to understand a little bit how they're kind of piecing these songs together, and I'm love doing this kind of journey with you, going through the whole Human Nature album. And yeah, excited about this one. I want to stop talking. I want to start listening. Nightwish, Procession. Let's see what you got.
New world and thirst for the arcane.
Okay, hang on a second. I did not expect it to start like this. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. Very spacey, very kind of out there. It's got those kind of core notes in that lead work, but it drifts away and comes back. It's kind of that arpeggio vibe. Yeah, really spacey. There is some synth and stuff in the background, but her voice coming in is like really delicate. She's got this great ability to add a really nice tonal value, even to something that sounds like a whisper. It's cool. Okay, this is different.
A cradle earth, a rising sun sea. New world and thirst for the arcane.
It's almost like a choir synth.
We are singers of the gone. We remember as the long came life.
Okay, so she said, I think she said the word gone there, and there was a dramatic change in the power of the synth behind it, some of the low end. I'll go back one more just to make sure you can hear it, but there was a change in that, and it felt a little bit more hopeful. Yeah, that was really nice. The introduction and layering of things as they build is phenomenal. Can't wait to see where it goes.
New world and thirst for the arcane. We are singers of the gone. We remember as the long came life.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a slight kind of edits and panning going on. It sounds like a lot of the digital kind of synthy, quicker lead work is slightly to the left, and that piano piece that's coming in, the lead piano piece, the more traditional sound is a bit to the right. And it's interesting because it kind of opens the music up and allows the vocals to come through the middle. It's not all the way left and right, but it's definitely shifted a little bit to create some space.
A cradle earth, a rising sun sea. Earth of one and a zillion sideshows. We are, we were, and will not be.
I love that phrasing.
We remember as along came acorn, another birth, another moss green. New world and thirst for the unseen.
Super interesting again. Drums coming in. I actually didn't even give a thought to percussion yet. I was so kind of like lost in this little melody that they put together, and I like how it came in. You've got that kick, which has got nice depth to it. It's got a nice little kind of tweak at the top end as well, that clang that you can hear. And so far, I'm not hearing any snare come in. So you're hearing him do a lot of hi-hat work, and some of those hi-hat hits are actually in place of the snare, which is why you can hear a harder emphasis on some of them. This is different. This is very different.
New world and thirst for the unseen.
It's getting a lot busier with the piano in the back.
An empty zoo, a starlight feature. We'll have a visit as along came heart
Wow. So I thought the drums were going to break there, and they didn't. So it's gone into, it had that kind of roll, and he shifted his energy from the hi-hat down to his kind of floor tom, it sounds like. And he's, again, replacing some of that snare work with harder hits and emphasis there. It sounds good. You get that percussive backdrop. It provides a tempo for what you're listening to. And it's interesting. It's a minute and a half in, and I'm not quite sure where it's going to go with this. Wait a second. On the word birth there was definitely like a lower, almost like a little mini growl on that. Am I hearing things? Or was that there? Definitely sounds like there's something underneath which is like much more ominous. Okay, hang on, as it moves now into wherever it's going, the strings are doing a really good job here. What you'll hear with strings is they'll actually start the chord or the note they're playing as the rest of the band does on the counts. But because of the nature of the bow pull, you hear it drift in slower and softer, and it almost sounds a bit delayed. It feels like it takes a while to get to the peak of that note, and it decays in the same fashion. And I love that. It's so emotional, so raw. Have a listen to how that's adding value kind of in the middle of those cycles. Really nice. Oh, wow. I don't actually want to pause because I'm getting a bit lost in the visuals here. It's when this evidence is presented in front of you, like the way they're doing it, it's really heartbreaking. But I do want to talk about the music at the same time. So apologies for breaking that flow. There is a nice relationship and a nice relationship's probably the best word between the two lead pieces you're hearing there, between the keys and everything else. It's working together really well, and it's difficult to do because when you place those next to each other, if you heard them in isolation, it would be difficult to understand how certain core notes within that are going to add value and going to emphasize. But for some reason it is working. It's working really well, in fact, and it's quite emotional. I mean, the visual matchup with what the music is doing, it works really well. Now, I don't know if the idea for this video was kind of being formed as they're writing the song, because there aren't any vocals at the moment, so it sounds like a bit of a musical interlude. Interesting. I love how that piano is evolving, the keys. I say piano when it's most likely keys, but it's the effects of it, the sound of it. It's that more traditional weighted sound. And then Troy coming in, just kind of echoing that and mimicking it. It sounds really pretty, busy and pretty. It sounds, it creates a bit of energy, even though there isn't any real traditional mass percussion to it or any heavy guitars. So it's an interesting way of kind of creating those same feelings and emotions by doing different things, which we know they're very good at anyway. Yeah, Troy's panned left in this to help balance. Oh man, her voice. Get out of here. Get out of here. What is nice there is where she's doing almost a kind of scale rundown when she comes in with that kind of with that really, you know, almost operatic vocal. You'll hear that the key work is much busier than what her vocals are, and that's really nice because it adds a syncopation element to it, even though it isn't really syncopated. It's just a busyness, but it is really nice to kind of match that with what's happening with the music and the vocals, because that usually means that it's going to lead into something else, which, to be honest, so far there've been loads of different moments in this song. It's interesting, the structure out the window. That's not going to help you here, and I shouldn't be shocked, but I am. Not the owls, come on. Okay, I was not ready for that. That gave me a fright. I was just going to say, when it went into this piece, which is a repetition of what we heard in the beginning, the strings were much more predominant. They were the primary musical sound. I didn't hear the spacey stuff too much. There was something else going on in the background, but it definitely wasn't the primary. And then that happened, and I could feel my blood rushing. Interesting. You've got the bass coming in, which sounds like it's got a nice drive to it. It sounds like the guitar chords have distortion and are kind of ringing out and being played to match the core, those rooted chords within the melody, while the busyness continues on the keys, but still no snare. He's still working on the floor toms, and it's very, very interesting. It's not a negative. It's such a different approach to the percussion for this song. It's kind of non-traditional, if you will, and for a song that's 5.5 minutes and we're about 3.5 minutes in, it's really nice and restrained. It creates so much room. They don't have to bring it in at all, but it creates room to do that, and I like that. It makes me think about what they're doing. A hopeful element to these chord progressions. Oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. See, there it is. They created all that room and depth. It's about being reserved. It's about having confidence and knowing that the listener isn't going to tune out. They're going to stick with you on the journey. And when you start to open up some of that instrumentation, it's going to be such a welcome surprise. He's gone in, he's using the snare a lot more now, but he hasn't lost the value of that almost tribal-esque beat that he's playing, that percussive, droney sound. I love the production on the drum kit. It sounds so good. You can hear every piece of that kit just almost as if it's in isolation, but somehow you can hear what I like to call bleed, which gives it a live and authenticity to it, like a live feel. It's very cool. I'm all for it. Interesting, yeah, because she's actually been singing for the vast majority of the song, she's been singing the same melody, the same phrasing, with exception to that musical interlude where she had some kind of vocal scale work happening. Now she's changed into something else, and it's just, yeah, the structure, there's no structure. There is a structure, it's just not the one I know, which is a good thing. Kind of makes me want to see what's next versus predicting and almost feeling like you're in a song you haven't heard before, but one that feels familiar. I know the song's about to end, so I'm going to go back just to hear that last little bit there. There's this kind of lead work that's going up and down, and it pulls you into this like cycle and trance. But behind it, I want you to listen to the synth piece that's being played. It almost sounds like it wobbles and changes progression, but it doesn't. It just sits still. But I like the trance element. It kind of puts you in with it. I think it's a really lovely way to end the song. Kind of drifts up slightly and back down, like. Very, very different. Very interesting. There was a lot in there musically, composition-wise, and structurally that I really loved and appreciated. But it didn't feel like a song. It felt like a musical accompaniment to something else. There were parts that felt like you were in a theater and watching a play, and there were parts that felt like a little bit more towards the end, about a bit like a song that you could imagine being played live. I'm on the fence with this one, and it's a good thing. I think when you understand what the purpose of that song was and the message, and I think it was so dependent on Floor's vocal delivery. I think it was so dependent on the message and the lyrics, and that was made obvious. And when you understand the purpose of it to communicate a very important message, we haven't looked after this planet very well. We haven't looked after its animals. We haven't looked after its people very well. But it's not too late. We always got to be hopeful and try. When you see the importance of what the message is, it's no longer important how much of a live song that feels like, because that's secondary. So for that purpose, I thought it was fantastic. If you asked me as a song in isolation, I'm kind of on the fence with it. I like how it built and left room, and I like how it created a want and a desire for certain instrumentation to come in, which it did. And eventually a lot of that did kind of join up and meet. But I felt like it was a lot of the same kind of melody. But again, all these things I'm saying are if I'm right about the thinking of the song, it's secondary to the message, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Going to a concert and listening to that live, would that get me as kind of hyped as the other songs that I have heard that also have an equally kind of important message? No, I don't think it would. Yeah, really interesting. Hard to communicate, to be honest. Very hard to communicate, because it's kind of sat with me. The message has sat with me really well, but the music hasn't been as memorable as some of the other tracks, and that's probably the best way that I could say that. Thought the vocal performance was incredible. It was remarkable. And if that was the point, then job done. But yeah, I'm excited taking this journey, man. I can't wait to get to the next one. Saturdays don't come quick enough, but I know you guys are there, and we're in the live chatting away. And just one more time to let you guys know that Tank the Tech and I have a Discord server, and we'd love to see you in there. If you want to chat to us more, you want to hop in the voice chat, we also take requests in there. You get to ask us any questions that maybe we don't see on the live chat, or we don't see in the comments. So we're in there most days, and if that's your thing, I'll leave a link to that server in the description of this video. And yeah, can't wait to see you there. But until the next one, please be safe, be nice to each other, but have a damn good day.